TicWatch Pro 5. I have some thoughts. Hello everyone, Clint here. I hope everybody is doing great today. Today I want to talk about the TicWatch Pro 5. And just for a disclaimer, I bought this watch myself. For some reason I wasn't special enough to have TicWatch send me one, but I want to give my first initial, just my thoughts on this generally. I've had it for several weeks. I've worn it quite a bit. And yeah, it is so far so good. Spoiler alert. But I kind of want to just talk about my thoughts about this as a normal Galaxy Watch 5 Pro user and kind of give my experiences based off of that using watch. I have my stack of watches here that I use all the time. I did own the TicWatch Pro 3, and I thought this was a pretty good watch. It had a few failures that I didn't like, and I'll talk to see if maybe the TicWatch Pro 5 maybe helped with some of those failures. So let's get started. First thing I want to talk about is the design. As you can tell, it's super similar to the 3. I don't know, it looks pretty good, not too bad. Got this little raised image here. It is a straight black aluminum with this little raised bevel on here. It does come with this particular silicone-ish band, whatever you want to call it. 24 millimeters though, which is odd. But you know me, I like big chunky bands, so I wasn't going to complain too much. However, my entire drawer of watch bands now don't fit, which is kind of a bummer. But band has one follower, pretty plain, boring band. And really, let's just say it's kind of a plain, boring watch. Compared to, say, my beautiful Galaxy Watch 5 Pro. Now, of course, I do have it blinged up with a nicer band, a little inner bezel there. But I think the titanium color does make it look a little snazzier, per se. I'm not a super watch snob how it looks, like Mr. Mobile there, who likes to rock over a $2,000 smartwatch just because it looks cool. But I'm not quite like that. But I do like it look a little bit better. But, you know, we can dress this guy up pretty easily with just putting a different band on it. And now it looks pretty good. Now, I do like black watches because they do look good with a number of different bands. I do prefer like a link band. I kind of do prefer like a little stainless kill, like my titanium here I have for my Apple Watch. But there you go. That makes it look significantly better. So, you know, design is always the eye of the beholder. I personally think this could be snazzied up just a little bit. I would prefer to, I don't know, something. But you put a different band on it, and it looks pretty good. So I'm not going to complain about that too much. But the build quality is solid. We got a nice aluminum there, little wheel there, button up here. And the back of the watch is plastic. So this all part is plastic, funky proprietary charger. I'm sure there's a reason for that. God only knows. Completely redesigned heart rate sensor, which actually looks pretty darn cool. I do like that. Let's get this back on here real quick. We can keep going. There you go. So if the design is your choice, kind of up to you. So performance-wise, now I was really excited to get this watch and bought it the day it released because it does have that W5 Plus chip in it. And let's be honest, we've been waiting for that for almost a year. I was super excited for two reasons. One, it has the chip in it, and two, it has stock Wear OS 3.5 in it. Of course, you know, our beloved Galaxy Watch here has Wear OS 3.5. However, it's highly skinned by Samsung, so I was pretty excited to try out just stock version of Wear OS. But anyways, I digress. So performance is fantastic. I'm telling you right now, this is the best performing Wear OS watch that I've ever used. I never thought my Galaxy Watch 5 Pro was pokey until I used this for a week straight and then went back to my Galaxy Watch, and every little bit of stutter and lag and everything I noticed. Of course, I got used to it after a couple days, but after using this for that long, this guy seems really slow. It is close, and I say close, to the fluidity and how the Apple Watch itself works. Still not going to beat the Apple Watch, and I don't think that's actually for the first time the performance of the chip in this guy. I think it's just a little bit of how Wear OS itself works. So performance is fantastic. I can't say that enough. It's hard to even explain it until you've used it. I've not seen a piece of stutter or a lag or anything on this guy. I mean, it's just bam, 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 bam. One of the things I want to talk about with performance is the haptics on this. Now, that was a huge failure for me on the TicWatch Pro 3 because of the haptics just sucked. I don't know what's going on inside this watch, but I mean, it sucked. It was awful. I can't tell you how many notifications, all kinds of stuff I missed. Even when I thought I felt it, yeah, it just sucked. I'm just going to say the watch, this one sucked. And when I first put this one on, this one sucked, which kind of sucked. I ain't gonna lie. I was really bummed out about that. I have to get my notifications. I have to be able to feel them. I got to be ready to go. And behold, surprise, surprise, surprise. Within like a week, I want to say there was an update to this watch. And that was one of the things it updated was the haptics. And I am happy to say it is significantly better. And I have not missed a notification. I feel it every single time. It's not great, guys, okay? So it's not super great, but it is definitely good enough and usable finally. But the first time right out of the box, it was just like the old one. I was really bummed out about that, but super bummer. But anyways, back to performance itself. You know, Wear OS 3.5 has your typical stuff here, but as you can see, I mean, that just scrolls beautiful. And that's another thing they added. I almost forgot is the scroll wheel. That was the other thing I hated, not hated, but I really didn't like is there was no scroll wheel. You had to use your fat finger. And I'm telling you, any watch that requires you to use the finger is a bummer because your finger covers up half the screen. So it needs some kind of rotational thing. Even the faux bezel here where you can scroll, at least you can get your finger on the edge and still get it to scroll on your Galaxy Watch. But I can tell you right now that after using this particular scroll wheel, I'm thinking scroll wheel is the way to go. Now we'll see when the Galaxy Watch 6 comes out if I fall back in love with the rotating bezel, which I'm sure I will because that was pretty darn awesome. But this works fantastic, so I really like it. It's a little sticky feeling. It almost feels like, I don't know, there's some pressure on it. Like sticky, like if you ever use an Apple Watch one, this is a free rolling wheel and it's super, super nice to spin. This one's just a little bit sticky. I got used to it, but it still feels like it takes way too much pressure to spin that wheel. But I'm just going through all this stuff, guys. You can see how freaking fast it just flies through all these screens. And for the first time, I've not changed any of the developer options on here to make these animations faster. It literally just goes from 1 to 1, gives you a nice little haptic feedback when you scroll. It works really, really good. I'm just telling you, performance is fantastic. As far as like usability of Wear OS 3.5, I am totally good with this. This works fantastic. I haven't had any issues. I think just having to use in a Galaxy Watch for so long, it's actually feeling pretty fresh compared to the Galaxy Watch there. You get the full toggles now instead of, you know, kind of half-ass toggles that we used to have in 2. I really like the tiles, and especially on this watch because it just flies. And I kind of prefer the notifications down here. It's a lot easier because you can, you know, on the Galaxy Watch, you can just see as you rotate over just one at a time. Here you can just see like a whole scroll through of them, and I like how it doesn't group them. You can see them all in one thing. It's really nice. I've been really enjoying the Wear OS 3.5 on this watch. It works pretty good. Now, you know, the button push here to get to your apps, as you can see here, it scrolls perfectly. One weird thing I noticed, and I can't remember, is every time I go back, it always goes to the top. To me, that seems weird. I don't know. I kind of want to go back to where I was. Like if I clicked on the wrong app and then I need to go back and then it goes right back to the beginning again, gives you this kind of scroll wheel, which is kind of a bummer. But other than that, that works fine. The button is nice and clicky. There is nothing wrong with the pressing of this button. It is very, very good. And then you have just the one more button. I don't know why they keep taking buttons away from Wear OS watches, but they just went to one button. And I don't know if this was a throw off to the Pixel or the button on the Apple Watches, but they made it really flush in there. It's got like a little bit of a grooving on there. I don't know if you can see that. You can feel it fine, but it is hard to push. Not a huge fan of this button. I would have rather just a dang pusher. Just give me a big old giant pusher to match that. And hey, while you're at it, why don't you leave the pusher on the bottom too, and I can put that to a certain app and it looks more like a regular watch. I don't know why they keep taking buttons away from our watches. They're super handy. You can tell my Garmin watch has 5 buttons, and I use all 5 of those buttons. It's really nice to have buttons, but not a big fan of this button. It works okay. It works just fine, I guess. You really got to push it. It's a little hard to push. I don't know. I wish they at least maybe give me another button, or even how the Galaxy Watch has a little bit of a stick out button there. It gives it a little bit of design too. You can't even see there's a button there. I don't know. Would have rather seen a bigger button. But other than that, I mean, good. Like opening apps is almost instant. Look at that. I mean, it is absolutely fantastic. Look how fast that opens. That was completely closed. Performance is on point for sure. Next thing I want to talk about that I've noticed is fitness. So this is billed, of course, as a giant fitness watch. It does all kinds of fitness stuff. I mean, it doesn't do any more per se than my Galaxy Watch. It has a whole host of apps, which is super, super annoying. When you get down here to the TicWatch stuff, I mean, it's just tick, 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 tick. I don't know. They really went crazy on the apps itself, and the ones you use mostly is just Tick Exercise and then Tick Health, which then syncs to the TicWatch, what do they call it? Mobvoi Health app right here, and it kind of sucks, guys. I'll tell you right now, this app just sucks. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the design of it. I don't know what all this giant funky stuff is on here. There's not much to this app itself. I mean, it gives you all the data that you want. It gives you the ability to manipulate and do stuff to your watch. That's about all it does, though. So not a huge fan of the app. I'm sure, I've seen other reviewers also say the same thing. It's not super great. But that leads me into the actual app on the watch itself. Let's scroll the heck all the way down here. Tick Health. That is not what I wanted. Now I got to start from the beginning again. This is what I'm talking about. Okay, Tick Exercise. So it comes with a ton of exercises. The first ones are the ones you use all the time. Then you go in more, blah, blah, blah. That's pretty normal stuff there. Fantastic. So Tick Mobvoi, for some reason on this watch, loves this orange color. Now we know I love orange. That's not a problem. It's not a great orange, though. And I'll just give you an example of how not great this is. So if I hit like an outdoor run, first off, fantastic job. It doesn't go right away. You can actually wait for your GPS to connect in. You can wait for the heart rate to start picking up before you hit go. Thumbs up on that. Samsung. So then once you hit go, of course, I can't get the GPS. I'm inside the house, no problem. But look at that. That is the absolute worst user interface I have ever seen in a fitness watch. This screen is gigantic. It's beautiful. It's one of the best things on this watch. And you get these weird colors. And the fonts are like really, really small. And right now I can see them. But as I go through each one of these screens, you can see, like, what does that even say? Like, you can't even tell what half the stuff is. And when you're out running and you're just glancing at your watch, you want to see some data. I struggle, and I've seen other reviewers say the same thing. It is really bad, and I don't know if they need to steal somebody from Garmin, but Garmin actually does it probably the best. They have big, chunky, gigantic buttons in there. I mean, look at that. Look how big that baby is. You are not going to miss that data because this is a fitness watch, and they know that you're running around like a crazy person, and you don't need to see that, while on this, on the other hand, is kind of a drag. This is the only fitness app that comes on the watch. Other than that, really, I kind of like it. I mean, it gives you a lot of cool screens. It works pretty good, gives you mapping. all kind of, we did get a lock. So did you see that? We got a lock inside. GPS has worked fantastic on it. Not a problem at all there. I've done several runs with either my Garmin or my Apple Watch on at the same time. All the distances line up perfectly. Not a problem there. It's actually been a really good experience as far as the actual app and sensors in it. It's been really good. That new sensor they put on the back, I don't know what they did to it, but they have made it actually really good. When I've been running long runs, like hour-long runs, I have a heart strap hooked up to one of my watches, and then I'm using this, and this baby is like maybe 1 to 2 beats different at any one time, or right on. So it's either right on with the chest strap, 1 or 2 beats difference. All the metrics are pretty darn close to my Apple Watch. Like all the calorie counts or stuff are like within 15, 20 off, which is pretty good between watches. I've been really impressed with all the fitness stuff that it can do. If it just had a different dang app, that app is just awful. I have not downloaded Google Fit yet because I wanted to test a watch as is, and so far it works. It's been working great. Pretty shocked on that. Don't ask me why I'm shocked on it. It is a $350 watch, so it should work properly, but I'm still, when it's not like a big brand like Garmin, Apple, or Samsung, I'm always surprised when they work as good as they do, and this one works really good. Now, one thing it can't do for crap at all is sleep tracking. This has the worst sleep tracking I have ever seen in a watch or a device that says it sleep tracks. This thing will tell me I'll sleep like an hour and a half a night, which thankfully is not correct. It has never been correct. I've probably worn it 6 or 7 times at night. I just stopped wearing it because it's not even remotely close. So yeah, no sleep tracking. If you're looking for something to track your sleep, do not get this watch. Maybe in an update they'll figure it out, but right now, no sleep tracking. It is complete and total trash. Okay, so what else is there to talk about this watch? I mean, that's really the main points, right? Let's talk about the screen. So one of the things that, one of the 3 major deal killers on here was the brightness of this screen was not acceptable at all. Like, you cannot, I'd be on a run and I would not be able to see any of my metrics in the middle of the day. It was really bad. And really, that's really why I stopped wearing this like really quickly. In fact, I'm surprised I even still have it. But this screen is better. I'm just going to say that. I'm actually able to see my metrics when I'm outside running. Does not hold a candle, I'm telling you now, not even a candle to the Galaxy Watch or actually any of these watches. It's just not nearly as good as any of these watches. It is usable. So if it's, going outside is something you do a lot and you want to be able to see your watch, it's probably not it. I have to keep it right now. I keep it on full brightness all the time. You see it's maxed out on the 3rd level of brightness. Just because it has to be. I mean, it just really has to be. Indoors, it looks great, of course. Any other time, but outside, it's mediocre at best, but usable. This one was not usable, like not at all. I'd have to do some contortions, try to get shadows, everything just to see a lap time. This one's at least usable, so I'll give it a pass for that. So yeah, screen is not the brightest for sure, but as you can tell, it is absolutely beautiful screen. It looks great, has great resolution, and it's huge. I mean, look how big that is. And everybody knows I like a big, chunky watch, so I really like the size of this watch. I really like the size of the screen. Really makes my watch faces pop out nicely. So I'm not gonna complain about the bigger screen, and I am super, super excited for the bigger screen on the Galaxy Watch 6. I'm hoping it's this size, because this would be awesome. I think this is a perfect size screen watch. So I'm not going to make too many complaints on that. I really like the screen, which then leads me to the the coup de grace, so they say, of the screens, and that is the what's that called? UDP screen, the one that saves all the energy, that looks like it's from, a 1970s watch. That's I don't talk about it too much because I don't use it. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I love my beautiful watch faces, and this one just doesn't do it for me, guys. If you're buying this for this, maybe you'll like it. I don't know. I don't like that. I just don't like it. However, it is significantly improved from this. So if you had a TicWatch Pro 3 and you use that screen, there is a gigantic improvement on that. You have a lot more data on here if you can see it, and you can actually scroll through screens when you're in workouts. It changes colors. The backlight changes colors when you're in a workout. If your heart rate, I thought that was cheesy when I first heard about it, but I'm telling you, it's pretty cool. I do a lot of zone training, and so it's nice just to quickly look to see what zone you're in based off the color, which I'm not saying these zones on this watch are accurate and they're not changeable, but you at least know what color is the zone that your heart rate's in. So that is pretty cool. I definitely dig it. Also, during a workout, this is perfectly fine because all you need is usually on a workout, you just need some lap time, stuff like that. It seems to work okay, but I don't like it on a day-to-day basis. I don't use it. I don't use it much at all, actually. In fact, we're just going to change that back because that's going to bug me. Yes, it uses less battery. I don't care. I want to see that big, beautiful watch face. And then one of the things, speaking of why I'm doing this here, if you notice how fast that goes, like the time it's definitely faster. The raise to wake time is faster probably than any watch I've used before. I did notice that in that last update that it improved that, and it is an improvement. Even on third-party watch faces, because third-party watch faces sometimes are a little slower than first-party watch faces. This one's super fast. I'm not going to complain about that at all. It works great for that too. Let's see, what else did I notice on this particular watch? It's comfortable. It's light, definitely lighter than any watch that I got, which is great for some people. It's easy to sleep with if it tracked your sleep worth of crap. It does have that essential mode where it goes into that UDP low power screen and lasts for days or over months, I think, on that. That's pretty cool. If you did want to sleep with it, I do sleep with a watch at all times because I wake up and I want to know what time it is, but that works really cool. I do have this set to go to essential mode at night at a certain time. I love that factor. It does extend the battery, even with the AMOLED screen as the always-on screen. That still helps a lot. I mean, baby goes into essential mode. The standby time is phenomenal because sometimes, I use all these watches, guys. So especially if I'm testing a watch or something, I'll toss this one off and I won't wear it for a week and I'll be able to throw it back on. It lost like 4% or something like that. It's pretty crazy. I really like that. So the essential screen is on point. I really do like that section. Of course, the other coup de grace on this watch is battery life. The battery life, all the claims are based on using that low power screen on top, which I don't use that much. I did do a battery test, which I will post later with that screen on. I had to suffer through that screen because this battery does last a long time using that screen, so I had to use that screen for days and days. So I'll be posting that here soon, so stay tuned for that. But the battery life, zero complaints. Obviously, it's not Garmin level battery life, but it is definitely better than the Pro, definitely better than the Ultra. It is perfectly acceptable. I could leave for a weekend and come back on Monday and still be able to use my watch just like this. So battery life is definitely acceptable and pretty good. I still need to do a battery test on using the AMOLED screen instead of the low power screen. So we'll see what it actually does. I really haven't paid attention to it. I usually just charge it up when I'm taking a shower or something like that. It's been working. It's great. I have no complaints. So final word on this. We're not going to get into the details about Mavoy's update cycle or lack of update cycle. I just like to review a watch, how I bought it right out of the gate, if it never got another update again. As long as apps still work with it, I usually don't complain too much about updates. But hey, let's say it for updates here. This one's got the new update, the One UI 5 beta on there. I do like updates, but just looking at the watch how it is, without bringing design and stuff to it, best Wear OS watch I have ever used. This one, as far as I'm concerned, is going to be my daily driver when I'm wearing a Wear OS watch. This is going to be it until Samsung comes out with the Galaxy Watch 6, and then of course I am going to switch over to that. But right now, this is the watch to beat, and I still think, looking at the rumored specs of the Galaxy Watch 6, this is going to be a faster watch than the brand new Galaxy Watch 6 that's coming out. So I don't know what your opinion is of Mavway, but I can tell you right now, this watch is running great. It does really good. A few tweaks to the fitness apps. And then, of course, you know, the biggest problem right now is there's no Google Assistant, which I don't like at all, just so you guys know. I really like Google Assistant on my watch. I use it all the time. When I'm wearing this, I'm having to use my phone for Google Assistant all the time, which is a giant bummer, but fingers crossed that baby is coming through the Snapdragon W5 Plus, so I'm really hopeful that this gets this, but hey, you might not get it before I get my Galaxy Watch 6, so we'll see what happens. But okay, maybe I fibbed a little bit, because like when I go out and I'm dressing up nice, let's be honest, I'm grabbing this guy right here. This thing is beautiful watch. I will be grabbing this, but you know, day-to-day wear, I'll probably be wearing this one right here. But any more questions, please let me know. Be happy to answer them. And yeah, see you on the next one.